Found my GF's mom's AirTag on my motorcycle after she suspected I was cheating. Then her parents showed up at my place in another country and it only got worse from there. I'm 27M and my girlfriend is 33F. Although our relationship started out very intense and unpredictable, we quickly developed strong feelings and have been together for 3 years. Despite being together that long. I just met my girlfriend's parents for the first time a few weeks ago. She is an only child and said she didn't want to introduce anyone she dated to her parents unless she knew this was the person she wanted to marry. Her parents also live abroad and due to COVID and her dad's health problems, they didn't visit her for a while. She usually went to visit them. It was a big step for her to tell me she wanted me to meet them and I did my best to make a good impression. I was raised by my grandmother. When she passed, my older sister took over caring for me. My girlfriend has had a stable upbringing. Her parents are wealthy and she's led a privileged life. We don't have the same life experiences and it was never a problem until I met her parents. If anything, for some reason the differences between us added to our relationship in ways. Unfortunately, I got the impression her parents were scrutinizing every aspect of my life over the dinner we had on our first meeting and this included my family. I stayed true to myself and maintained my confidence but left the interaction feeling like I bombed a test. My girlfriend reassured me they liked me. But her mood over the few days afterwards suggested otherwise. I called her out on it and pressed her for an explanation. I learned she's been upset because of a fight she had with her mother following the dinner. Her mother thinks I'm just having fun with her daughter, that I will get bored and leave her and she's too old to be wasting time with me. Apparently, her mother got this impression entirely from the way I look and this judgment about me trumps anything else I shared about myself. My girlfriend and I decided to have me spend more time with her family over the coming holidays, so I have been going over every day and involving myself in shopping trips etc. with my girlfriend and her mom, hoping that she would get to know me and overcome whatever skepticism she has. I even spent hours getting a crash course in a strategy board game her dad plays and started playing with him to continue learning it as a form of bonding. Despite feeling like I won her dad over, I felt like her mom was constantly evaluating my loyalty in subtle, unrealistic ways. Examples include overanalyzing how I interact with others in public, reading too much into the way I smile, and the way I show affection toward my girlfriend. According to my girlfriend's mom, the fact that I have a motorcycle makes me extra slutty. And that's how this escalated. My sister and I have an 18-year-old dog. It's been a tough few months for him. I think he's approaching the end. For that reason, usually one of us is always with him. He's on the smaller side, so he's easy to bring along anywhere. I've had to leave to give medicine to my dog at certain times of the day because he's on a schedule and I guess my girlfriend's mom found even this to be suspicious. The other day I left my girlfriend and her family to go give my dog his medicine and on my way there my phone alerted that an AirTag was traveling with me. When I reached my place, I searched all my pockets and stuff and eventually found it on the motorcycle itself. It was connected to my girlfriend's mom's number. I told my girlfriend and my girlfriend said she put her mom's AirTag on my bike to prove to her mom that I was not lying about where I was going. I get that she was trying to defend me but I feel angry at her. It's hard to articulate but ever since I met my girlfriend's family, microaggressions by her mom are really getting to me and it's hard to separate them from my girlfriend. Hoping I'm just overstimulated by all this and things will get better after Christmas is over. I'm not sure if I'm an off for being cold toward my girlfriend about the AirTag though. But it's a frustration that I'm having trouble letting go of. Update: we've been together for a few years and have discussed getting married. Unfortunately, ever since I met her parents last year, their behavior, specifically her mom, has made it difficult for me to see a future anymore. Her mom mistrusts me and it's all based on superficial impressions and assumptions about who she thinks I am. I have tried to show her parents patience and I've been extremely respectful, giving them opportunities to get to know me and overcome their prejudices. Everything came to a head when I went to visit my home country. I have a place here and I came to see a friend get married. Her parents showed up unannounced and requested a ride from the airport. I immediately called my girlfriend despite the time difference because I was in shock. She claims she had no idea about their plans. They claim it was all impromptu, cheap flight, last minute etc. I just don't buy it. Anyway, I picked them up and they're currently staying with me in my apartment. They've got no itinerary but want me to arrange them to see XYZ and of course they need me as translator. Everything is apparently too foreign to them, they're lost without me. They refuse to go anywhere without me as an escort. My girlfriend is apologetic, but I just don't see her supporting me in dealing with her parents, especially her mom, who is the instigator. The dad has no backbone, is forced to follow her. I posted another issue a while back too. My girlfriend doesn't support me in setting boundaries, so as her partner I fall into a rock and a hard place type situation. I can't tell if I'm being cold and uninviting, Or if these people are crazy and my girlfriend is so afraid of them she didn't even warn me about something like this. I feel like I can handle anything if she's on my side. But it doesn't feel like she is. Maybe I can't be with someone like that. Update 1, January 19, 2025. I just wanted to clarify some things. I only met my girlfriend's parents for the first time late November 2024. The reason I picked them up from the airport instead of abandoning them or telling them to go find a hotel, etc., was out of respect for my girlfriend and the relationship I wanted to have with her and her parents. After the first meeting I had with her parents, in late November that I shared in my first post, I confronted my girlfriend. She apologized and eventually her mother did too. Basically, I thought we were past whatever suspicions and mistrust her mother had about me. Then this happened. In the last few days, since this began, I have realized some things about my relationship. My girlfriend has been trying to play both sides. She'll tell me one thing and her parents another thing. She's been hiding some deep trust issues about me and insecurities about our relationship. Mostly her fears about me being unfaithful. I want to be clear that these fears are not because of anything that I've done, it's just how she feels. She used her parents to convince me it wasn't her craziness. And I am pretty sure she told her mom how she felt and her mom was willing to be in on it. I broke up with my girlfriend and asked her parents to leave. The friend's wedding I went to hit different because of that. But it also made me realize how unhealthy and toxic my relationship was. I haven't disclosed a lot. But I think I was in an abusive relationship. I am still struggling to accept that. And there is some shame creeping up that I don't understand. Why is it there? Anyway. Thanks for all the messages. Sorry my writing skills aren't that great. I'm so drained from this situation. I feel like I need to sleep for a month. I don't even feel like writing about any of this, but I felt I owed you the conclusion. Update 2, January 27, 2025. To those who were worried my ex-girlfriend would trash my place, nothing like that happened. I talked to her in person. She said I was misunderstanding everything. She began to cry, which was difficult for me. There was a moment where I wanted to forget all of it so I could hug her. I held back because something felt different. She asked me if I hate her. Obviously, I don't. I said I am tired of feeling like the person I love is not who I thought they were. Ever since she introduced me to her parents and close friend circle, which I didn't talk about, I have seen a side of her I don't recognize. After meeting her parents for the first time and the strange behavior started to add up, I gave her an opportunity to come clean. I asked her to tell me everything. I told her I can't help you if you leave me in the dark. I even warned her if I find out later, it's over. Because of the way she chose to answer me during this conversation. Every action I took, I held back. All she had to do was tell me what was going on. I would have helped her take on everything. Instead, she chose to trick me in cruel ways while acting helpless and innocent when I questioned her about it. I shielded her all this time. She manipulated everyone around her, including me. Everything is confusing now. I look back at all of our time together and feel crazy. I can't differentiate anymore. Her true feelings about anything. She tried to explain the stress of pleasing her friends and family made her act this way, but she doesn't share their views or doubts about me. She said she's never loved anyone the way she loves me and her feelings scare her. I wish she would just admit she had too much fucking pride. I understand she is the way she is probably due to how she was raised. But some of the things she has said and done are unforgivable. The conversation went on, but everything was still other people's fault. She wasn't taking any accountability. So I stood by my decision, to stay broken up. To be honest. By hesitating for even that singular moment when I wanted to hold her, she showed me the side of her that comes out when she doesn't get her way. For the first time, I felt like what I was seeing is actually her true self. We were having this conversation while walking outside. We had stopped walking and she was wiping her tears. When she realized I wasn't going to comfort her, she started to say degrading things about me. She also brought it up again that my life is easier than hers because I grew up with no parents. This comment was so fucked up it made me laugh. I told her she's so privileged she has no idea what it even means to have a hard life. Because I laughed, I could tell she wanted to throw her coffee at me. She didn't. Instead, she said some more things about me and I realized I don't care anymore because I don't even recognize this woman who is yapping in front of me. Since then, she has emailed me an Excel spreadsheet of all the money I owe. The things she has itemized are things like, all the time she upgraded me on a flight, luxury gifts she has bought me on birthdays, Christmas, etc. She also included ridiculous things like estimated cost of gas X amount of times when she was my designated driver. And pregnancy tests. I think she added this just to mess with me. I'm not going to bother explaining my contributions. This email made me sick. I packed her things that were in my apartment. I had a friend come over when she came to collect them. She didn't know this. I answered the door and she pushed against me and tried to initiate. I didn't return her advance and she got angry and scratched me. I think maybe she was trying to slap me but couldn't reach. I'm not really sure because it happened too fast and I restrained her. My friend came out and began calling her on it. He made a show of taking a video and threatened her with assault. I think it embarrassed her, so she probably won't do something like this again. The only downside to his presence was, I think she will try to convince herself I rejected her in that moment because he was there. For people asking about my dog. He's happy and comfortable, and still alive. He eats well unlike his age. My priorities are to improve the quality of his life, not unnecessarily prolong it. But every night I check on him before I fall asleep. And every morning I wake up with this feeling of dread. He has Cushing's disease and chronic pancreatitis. He is high risk for developing cancer. The medication routine is a bit complex, but I am learning everything I can for him. Take care of your pets and check them often for lumps. A lot of animals hide their pain. I guess we have that in common. Maybe I shouldn't have ended the post like this. Anyway, I'm really okay. I posted this update because I got a lot of messages and it's easier than answering them separately. In case I don't feel like answering comments, I will just leave this here. There is a lot I haven't shared. There is a lot I haven't even admit to myself yet. I am not saying I am perfect. It's not about being right or wrong anymore. I have a lot of flaws too. I'm sure I handled some things poorly. And I know I was a fool. I also still experience moments where my heart aches and I question if I'm wrong about everything, wanting to just get back together. Hopefully this will get easier with time. Anyway, writing here counts as therapy, right? I'm going to go drink a cold beer in the shower. Next story. Made my entitled stepdaughter pay for destroying my daughter's computer after she got jealous of her room makeover, but now my husband and his ex are furious with me. I, 30F, have a 14-year-old daughter Leia. Married my husband Mark, 46M, 6 years ago. He has 2 children from a previous marriage, Koi, 16M, and Coral, 14F. Me and Mark have the kids full time, but his kids live with their mom for a few weeks during the summer. They moved into my lake house, which has 5 bedrooms. 2 of the bedrooms upstairs have bathrooms. My daughter had one of those rooms. But as the girls began high school, Coral began complaining about not having a bathroom and said it's unfair. Mark and Koi told her to stop complaining. Leia said it was fine and asked us if she could turn the basement into her room. I didn't like that idea, but she begged. So I agreed. Turns out my daughter wanted a room makeover, so this worked out. We give the kids allowance and allowed them to get a work permit. Koi worked at an arcade and told the girls he could get them jobs. Coral refused to work, but Leia agreed. After 5 months of saving her allowance, she able to buy everything she needed to decorate. Coral never bothered to go down there because she believed it was full of spiders, but Koi was down there every day helping her. After a week she completely transformed the basement. She invited everyone down, and it was stunning. I didn't even know that computer towers could be clear. She looked so proud. Coral then screamed that it wasn't fair and that she wanted the basement now. Everyone began yelling at her, but she began crying, and before we know it she ran over to the computer and threw the tower on the ground. The glass shattered and one of the monitors fell to the floor, also breaking. My daughter cried. I explained to Mark that Coral has to pay for this. He said her emotions are just high and that we'll get situated when everything calms down. I ran to Coral and yelled, saying that she's on punishment. Mark didn't agree, but I didn't care. Coral was unnecessarily crying, and ran to her mother's car. Koi was trying to help my daughter, and Mark tried to hand her $300, but Koi explained that Coral caused about $1,000 worth of damages. He said luckily the expensive pieces in the case were saved, but the case itself was about $450 and the monitor was $200. Mark explained that he doesn't have that kind of money. So I said she can't come back until my daughter's stuff is repaired, with a sincere apology. Koi agreed and Mark was upset, saying he couldn't do that to his daughter. I told him to leave if that's the case. Mark left for a few hours and handed my daughter a check for $1,000. I explained that Coral can't come back if there is no punishment. My husband's ex-wife is saying that I'm banning her from our home because she didn't deserve that bigger space and that we were treating Coral unfairly. But I said she did, that there was nothing unfair about the situation. The ex just hung up. Now my husband's ex-in-laws are bombarding him with phone calls saying he's a horrible dad. His sister even said he's being a bad parent, and they're best friends, so it's really getting to him. This happened last night and he hasn't gotten up yet. Should I apologize? Ida update 1. I found out the complete story and there is a lot of drama. It's over a boy. So both my daughters are cheerleaders and it's a Valentine's Day dance coming up. All of Coral's friends are cheerleaders and they all date football players except her. So for the past month her friends have been trying to hook her up with Brad. But it turns out he is interested in Leia. After all the games, Brad talked with Leia. So Coral came up with a rumor that Leia plays Roblox. It's not really a rumor, but Brad found out. So after school a few days before the incident, Coral tells Brad how childish Leia is for still playing Roblox. And Brad says he doesn't think it's childish. Turns out him and his friends play and then invited Leia to join them. Then yesterday after school in the hallway, Brad had his friends recorded this big proposal to the dance that included flowers and chocolate, and Leia accepted. Apparently Coral was crying at cheerleading practice and Leia went up to ask what's wrong and if she needs anything. Coral and her friends started cursing Leia out. So Leia just backed off. Then this morning Coral posted about how Leia is the favorite child and that she was kicked out of her decorated bedroom in order for Leia to have it. Her mom, Drea, had also posted something similar. Coy didn't want this to ruin Leia's reputation. So he posted everything about their lies. He also posted a picture of the shattered case. And explained how everything Coral said was a lie and how Leia was nice enough to give up her bedroom. Drea also called us some horrible names. Then Coy responded that the reason the custody is no longer 50-50 is because Drea's husband hates kids. Apparently Coral didn't know this, but Drea sent my husband a text saying he knows how her husband feels about the kids being here, so he needs to make up with her and let her come home. Mark then screenshot this and sent it to Coral. She came home and went straight to her room. She skipped practice. Leia is on her way, so when she gets home we'll have a family meeting. Update 2, so we had a long talk. Coral came down and apologized to Leia. And she was jealous about Brad. She also apologized to me for lying to her aunt. She believed that Leia got everything she asked for. So I had her explain, and the only thing she said was Brad. As I was about to explain, Mark stepped in and told her that wasn't everything. Mark then explained everything Coral got, which included a room makeover which Leia had to pay for on her own. A brand new laptop after Leia had to pay for her entire computer setup. He then asked, is this really about a guy that she doesn't have anything in common with? Coral then told us how popular he was and that because Leia is a nerd they don't mesh. Other than cheerleading, Leia is in Quiz Bowl and a robot making club. Leia explained now that football was over, Brad was also in those clubs and so are his friends who the other cheerleaders date. Coral then began crying again because after the post her friends explained that their boyfriends don't want to be involved with a liar and advised them to stop hanging with her, so they didn't sit with her at lunch today. Mark calmly told her that was her own doing. She broke down and said, I know. Mark then held her in his arms and apologized about sending her the screenshot and explained that I wasn't the bad guy. She then explained that Drea told her that I forced Mark to get full custody so that we all could be one big happy family. So that along with the Brad situation made her lash out. She then ran to hug me saying how sorry she was. And looked at Leia and apologized once again. I brought up family therapy and everyone agreed. Coral took the post down already and apologized to Leia publicly. I know things are looking up, but without friends in this situation with her mom, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Update 3, so things did not get better. We went to one therapy session as a family and it went great. And the girls started hanging out again. Coral got her friends back and everything seemed normal. However, when the girls went to the dance it wasn't good. Brad and Leia were dancing and Coral became jealous again looking at them. So she told her friends her plan was to pour juice on Leia. Coral believed that her friends had her back because apparently they all laughed and agreed to help her. Leia had on a blush dress so the drink would have easily been visible. The plan was for Leia to leave so Coral could dance with Brad. But as the group made their way over to Leia, one of the girls pushed the cup up so it spilled back on Coral. The girl said oops and her friends began laughing at her. She ran out crying and called her dad to pick her up. Later that night the girls had told Coral that she was just being mean and vindictive at this point, so they were tired of her behavior, then removed her from the group chat. They added Leia to the group and she told me everything when she got back. At school Coral tried to apologize to her friends but they ignored her. So she left school. We spent the whole day looking for her and found her at her aunt's. She was truthful with her aunt and she explained that her behavior is what caused her to lose her friends. We were there at the point and complained everyone was against her. Later that night Coral tried to take her life. We found her in time. So now she's spending time at the hospital. I really don't know where to go from here. My house has been peaceful and I feel bad that I feel good about that. But I hope the Coral gets the help she needs.